We're involved in a project called Community Mobilization for Mentoring Youth. And this is an effort to increase relationships between youth and adults in the community.
The project is really based on the idea that mentoring programs, as important as they are, don't often reach secondary level students. And that what mentoring programs are really trying to do is to replicate a naturally occurring process for young people for whom that process isn't working. So the idea is to, rather than to pair up a mentor and a youth, which is a standard mentoring program approach and very valuable, this is putting young people and adults in a situation where they get to know each other, where they begin to do things together, in the expectation that mentoring will then happen. We spent a year studying German apprenticeship, and it was clear to me that part of what's at the core of that is the relationship that develops between a young person and an adult in a workplace, part of whose job is to teach the young person how to do the work. Doesn't mean that all German apprentices feel as though they have a mentoring relationship with the adult they're working with. And in larger firms, they move around among different places, so they aren't working just with one person. But when Mary Agnes and I began working in the Binghamton area to adapt German apprenticeship to the United States, we emphasized the importance of that relationship and distinguished it from what we called a coaching relationship, based on the idea that you can assign a coach to teach the job, but the young person will pick a mentor. And we saw that happening, where a relationship would form in one place, the young person would rotate into another, but then come back to look for advice. And that was part of what then got us thinking and studying and doing other projects along these lines. And so we see this as not a better way, but a supplemental way to try to increase the amount of mentoring and increase the availability of mentoring for those who need it most.
Our funding at the current moment is for rural schools. So that's the criterion. And we were choosing schools also that had a population that was in need. And but an important part of the program is we wanted to mix the populations. We didn't only want to have youth in poverty in the program. We wanted to have a mix.
We have been looking for schools that have the flexibility to add a program of this kind, and that are open to working with members of the community, because we see community representation on the planning and steering committee as being quite crucial. And in fact, it's part of the
Right.
design of the program, is that you're sort of breaking the school open and treating the whole community as a learning environment.
We found in the pilot that we did in South Seneca that the youth in focus groups after the project really praised the fact that they learned about adults they didn't know existed in the community, and were very excited about these people who had really fruitful lives. And part of the project is designed to, in the rural areas, is to address the brain drain, to show the youth that there are opportunities here. There are people who've made opportunities for themselves, and to begin to have them think about, what does that mean for me? I can have goals too, goals I didn't think about, and there are ways to achieve them, and there are people to help me do that.
Another dimension of that is the belief that young people will be committed to their communities when they have an opportunity to make a difference in them. Likewise, they'll be committed to their communities when they feel supported, when they feel as though people care about them. And we're not expecting that all young people are going to stay, that all young people who go away to college will come back. But if a larger proportion decide to stay or return, particularly if they decide to go on to higher education and return to their communities, our communities will be richer as a result.